Hey YouTube, 3D Printed Life here, and first of all, I apologize. I've been mulling it over in my head for a long time, kind of been dancing around the fact, but the fact of the matter is I really can't sell the full Eclips3D kit without some kind of liability protection. Before, when I was selling the 3-ups, it was really just nuts and bolts and metal hardware and printed parts. Nothing could go wrong with that, but with the plan to sell the Eclips3D, it would include all the electronics, custom wiring, and all that, and there's a lot more that could go wrong. I'm not saying anything will, because all of the components in the Eclips3D are really top quality. I mean, I've went through, tested a whole bunch of different stuff, and I've handpicked the best of the best parts to use in this. So really, the odds of anything going wrong are so tiny, but still, I would have to protect myself against a possibility of something going wrong. And I really couldn't do that without forming an LLC and a whole big legal, complicated, and somewhat expensive process for something that I really never intended to be starting my own business. I know that's not a bad route to take, but considering I'm still in school, I really would rather just focus on schoolwork for now and leave starting my own business until after school. So what I've decided to do is tone it down a bit. Now, you can still get your own Eclips3D, you can still get it for about the same price, and it still isn't that difficult to do. It just requires a tiny bit more work on your end. But this is actually a benefit in many ways, because for some, if not many of you, you'll be able to build the Eclips3D cheaper and quite a bit sooner than you would have otherwise. So let me get into the new plan. So as you can see over here, this is the main part that will concern you. This is for the customer, as you can read. So basically what's going to end up happening is I'm going to sell all the custom stuff, the CNC'd parts, the printed parts, some stuff that you have to buy in bulk but you only need a few of, like stuff from McMaster Car, some custom stuff like the bed with all the custom fixins on it, then all the fasteners, stuff like that. I'll go over that in detail in a few minutes. But anyway, you will buy the rest of the stuff that you don't need anything custom for. So all this stuff is really easy to build. The only thing that might be difficult is stuff from Misumi. I know those of you in Europe, you can't buy from Misumi, so I will possibly look into this a little more about selling Misumi packages internationally. But I'm not sure if I'm going to be going international with this, considering I'm not handling shipping. It's actually more of a family thing, and my mom will be handling the shipping of this stuff. But regardless, so you're going to end up ordering from Open Builds, the motors, the power supply, some little stuff, about $110 including shipping to the US. E3D for the hot end, $75 including shipping to the US for the full E3D. The Panucat is TX, well, it's not Panucat, he is TX5 from Panucat, will end up being about $115 with shipping to the US. Misumi, minus the rods and the square nuts, I'll get into that in a second, is about $100 including shipping to the US. Robot Dig is a bunch of assorted electronics, somewhere around $80-90 with shipping to the US. And then there's some other assorted stuff which you can get from AliExpress, from eBay, from Amazon, really wherever you choose, or you might have some lying around already. That's about 15 bucks. So when all is said and done, you're going to spend, I don't know how much this is, I believe it's around 500 or so for all these off-the-shelf parts. But then after that, there are custom packages which you can choose to order, or which you can choose to do on your own or order on your own. So there's going to be hardened rods from Misumi. These are really expensive in low quantities, so I'm going to buy them in bulk and resell them. So I can get them for about 75 a piece. So I'll be selling them for a little bit of a markup, not too much, because of course there's really no work involved. All the CNC'd parts, plus the vibration dampening motor mounts, I gather all that together, sell a package of those. I will sell a package of the 3D printed parts only. This is just the filament required. That's a complete estimate, I might be wrong, but I believe it's around 200 to 250 cubic centimeters. The heated bed package, which will be a RepRap Mark III heated bed with thermal insulation on the bottom, a thermistor installed, the wire installed for the power, everything taped down, and a build tack surface installed. Stuff from McMaster Car, this is all really stuff you have to buy a lot more of than you need, so you can feel free to order this stuff if you want to have extras, but I'll help you save a little bit of money by buying it more in bulk and then breaking it out into what you actually need. Custom wiring, which won't be the wiring assembled, but it will be all the parts you need to make your own custom wiring harness. So basically it's going to include well, it won't include this stuff because you can buy this from Robot Dig. I did change this stuff around a little. but it will include an LED strip trimmed to length. It will include all the wire sections you need trimmed to length and stripped, and it will also include all the crimp connectors that you may need thrown together in the package. So that will be very cheap because it's not really anything too expensive, and there's also not much work on our end. And then finally there is the fasteners package, which will include all of the fasteners you need for the Eclips3D. This is from mostly Trimcraft Aviation. They have awesome high quality stainless steel parts that are super cheap. I highly recommend them if you've never heard of them. McMaster Car will have those M3x30 hex heads, which are repeated, but it's only 3 and they're like 50 cents, so don't worry. And then Masumi for the square nuts, which are also rather expensive if you buy them in low quantities. I believe it's like $9 for a package of 100, but you only need 50, and I can get them cheaper, so I'll be throwing them in. And then all this stuff, of course, you can buy more of. These numbers include extras for just about everything, about 10 to 20% more of what you need, and it will all be included ready to go in just one nice package. So basically that's the plan. So each of these things will be a separate listing on the website, which you can elect to purchase, or you can elect not to, do on your own, gather your own parts, whatever you want to do. And additionally, if you say wanted to get different stepper motors, you could save a little bit of money. If you want the E3D Lite, you could save another 30-40 bucks. If you want a ramped controller, you can save like 70 bucks. There's so many ways now that you can save money and build the Eclips3D cheaper. However, be warned, substituting parts, especially in here, will result in a printer that is not quite as high of quality as the Eclips3D was meant to be. So I wouldn't recommend you substitute parts. But if you're on a budget and if you really have no alternative, then by all means go ahead. It is certainly better than nothing. And then on top of all that, you'll be able to get everything sooner. This stuff that's going to be going on sale will really be able to sell right away. I'll probably wait about 2 weeks, just see how the demand is for each of the products before ordering anything. But after that, I expect that all this stuff will start going out with only like a 4 to 6 week lead time. As opposed to the Eclips3D, which probably would have been about 3 to 4 months. So really, while it is a bit of a negative, it also has quite a few positives, especially if you have your own 3D printer, if you have your own CNC mill, if you can source your own parts from other places. There's really a ton of opportunities to save a lot of money and time here, and build your own really unique 3D printer. Now on top of all this, there will still be the same instructions posted online, the same startup guide, really everything else is the same. The only difference is I'm not selling the entire 3D printer, I'm just selling the some of the important bits, and you source everything else on your own. So I hope you guys are okay with this change. The final cost ends up being somewhere around $825 to $850, so really it costs about the same as it would have before, but with the all sorts of changes you can do to save money, you can get it down to $650, $700 if you wanted to. Not saying you should, but it is something you can do. So that's pretty much it. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that you are okay with these changes. I really do apologize. I did fully expect to sell the Eclips3D until recently when I started looking into it. But again, I feel like these changes are actually more for the better than anything. So again, let me know what you think of these changes below. Everything should be going on sale starting very shortly, so keep an eye out for that video. And that's pretty much it. So thank you all for watching. I apologize again for the changes. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you later.